This is Katie Bigner, licensed clinical professional counselor, and welcome to Mindfulness for Everyone. Today's video is going to be on mindfulness of the senses, and this is a very common grounding technique that helps us really connect to the present moment that we're in by engaging all of our senses. And so that means we're going to be engaging our sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. And before we begin this exercise, it's important to start off just connecting with the breath, as always. So go ahead and get into a comfortable but alert position. And begin to pay attention to your breathing. And here we're not going to do anything to change our breath or manipulate it in any way. We're just simply focusing on the qualities and the sensations that we feel as we inhale and exhale. Here we can start to engage with a sense of touch as we notice the sensation that we feel as air enters through our nose or mouth. We can actually focus in on the feeling of touch as air fills our sinuses and creates a sensation as it moves down our throat and into our belly and our chest. Noticing the gentle bob of our shoulders up and down. Here we might become aware of the sensation that we feel as our clothing gently rubs against our skin, as our lungs expand, pressing more deeply into the cushion or the chair beneath us. We can even notice the sound of our breath, just noticing the qualities. It's a soft tone, perhaps. You might describe it as a bit muffled, smooth, or congested. If you have a cold or you're dealing with some allergies. So now that we've successfully grounded in our breath and we've flexed our mindfulness muscles a bit, let's begin by identifying 5 things that you can see. So with curiosity, just let your eyes gently glance around the room that you're in. And see if you can let your eyes land on 5 different things that you can see. And as you notice with your sense of sight, start to engage your ability to describe these things, but be sure to do so in a non-judgmental way. What that means is that we're not going to describe something as good or bad, ugly or pretty. We're going to be staying away from these subjective judgments, and instead, we're going to focus on the objective details of the things that we see. So you might be looking at a windowsill, and it might look like a bright colored windowsill if it's painted white or another bright color. You might notice the texture. It might look bumpy or rough or very smooth. You might notice that the sun enters into the room and reflects off of the windowsill in different ways. If there are objects on the windowsill, you might notice shadows. And if you do, you might notice a gradient of shadow. Some areas the shadow is darker than other areas. You can also use descriptors such as bright, dull, colorful, blurry, patterns, height, positions of the items that you're looking at. All of these are objective and help us practice describing in a non-judgmental way. Next, we're going to identify 4 things that you can touch. Now, this could be the texture of 2 fingers pressing or rubbing together. It might be the sensations you feel as your legs press against the chair beneath you. It might be the pillow that you hold in your lap. Or it could just be any object around you that you decide to pick up and explore with your sense of touch. So just notice the different things that you're able to sense with your skin. It could be a breeze. It could be the warmth of the sun. And again, we want to describe these experiences objectively, staying away from subjective descriptors like nice or enjoyable, but rather descriptors like smooth, sharp, fluffy, tickling, and so on. Next, we'll move on to identifying 3 things that you can hear. Now, that certainly can be the sound of my voice, or it could be whatever nature you hear around you. It might be the humming of central air. It could be acute sounds, like hearing a door shut or somebody laughing in the distance. Just take some time to see if you can spot 3 different specific sounds. And the types of descriptors that we can use to describe sound objectively can be loud or soft, layered, squeaky, constant. You can also describe pitch, tone, and volume. Next, we're going to identify 2 things that you can smell. So maybe you're in an office and you have a pencil in front of you. You could choose to pick that up and see what that smells like. Perhaps there's a candle burning. Or there's an item close by that you could pick up and see if you can detect any specific smell or odor. When you're outside, you could explore the smell of dirt or a flower. And if you're eating a meal, there's lots of smells to explore. Here we're going to use descriptors like pungent, light, floral, sweet, earthy, or maybe chemically. Yep, that's a word we're going to use if it fits. And then finally, we're going to identify and describe 1 thing that you can taste. So as we engage this particular sense, you might want to actually eat something, or chew on some gum, pop a candy in your mouth. But you don't have to. It might be that you just notice the mintiness of your toothpaste from when you brushed your teeth. It might be an aftertaste from a meal that you've already eaten. Either way, describe this as objectively as possible, using words like sweet, sour, bitter, salty, artificial, faint, or strong. And that's it. A very simple, mindful grounding technique that not only brings you into the present moment, but helps you practice being in that moment in a non-judgmental way. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found this exercise helpful.